Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Greetings, friends. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Kalaye Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyadarshanam Ajnana Nashakam Devam Sadgurum Muralidharam Yasya Smarana Matrena Jikhvayam Vardate Swayam Mahamantrastam Bhajami Muralidhara Deshikam Premamritam Yo Murali Ninadaihi Shri Krishna Rupena Purava Adyapi Soyam Muralidharakyo Pushnati Premna Bhuvanam Saharsham Kirtite tu Mahamantre Tatra Virbhuya Takshanam Suprasanno Bhavedyastam Premika Varadam Bhaje Murali Mandita Karakamalam Munijana Mohanam Vyatyasta Padam Vanamala Darinam Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam Premika Varadam Ashrayeham Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. It gives me great delight to join you all in yet another session of Answers and Beyond. I begin by offering my humble prostrations at the holy feet of beloved Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Maharanyam Sri Sri Muralidhara Swamiji, by whose abundant grace I sit before you today. I would also like to thank every one of you for joining this satsang, for taking the time and effort. And a very big thank you to our Namadwaar New Zealand team. I'm going to take this question that a friend from New Zealand has shared with us. This is how the question goes. From time to time, small localized disorders gives rise to increased prayers and a slight shift in consciousness. Considering what's happening now, an event of global dimensions, would you think that more and more people will find time to introspect, and as a result will Kali, as in Kali Yuga, this age, not be so Kali in nature from now on? A question that's very relevant to the context that we find ourselves in today amidst this pandemic of COVID-19. And in short, this is the essence of the question. Every now and then we've seen such calamities, we've seen such disasters, and it is at such times people hold on to prayer more than ever before, and there is a slight shift in terms of consciousness towards betterment. That is what is implied here. In the wake of what's happening now with this huge global pandemic, will this make more people to introspect, and as a result, will they be able to hold on to prayers and virtues more? In a sense, when the questioner goes, will Kali be less Kali, meaning the ill effects of Kali Yuga, will they decrease because of this? Before I even go into the answer to this question, I would like to say right away that although our Sanatana Dharma and Mahatmas and Gurus have taught us to always learn from everything that happens around us, things that we may perceive as good and we may perceive as bad, although that is what has been told and that is what has been taught, I would like to reiterate that at this point of time, when the whole world is fighting against coronavirus, Guru Maharaj's heart and our hearts certainly go out to everyone that has been afflicted by this, those that contracted the illness, those that suffered losses, loss of life, loss of their employment. Our heart goes out especially to those selfless warriors, the healthcare professionals, volunteers, the sanitation workers, government agencies, and everybody that is trying to go and stand out there in the front and serve other people that are there in suffering. Our hearts certainly go out to them. We pray sincerely for them. Our Guru Maharaj is always praying for them, that they be blessed with more strength and good health. For the ones that are suffering, they become all right soon and get back to normalcy as soon as possible. And for the families that have lost members, dear members, our prayers are with them, that they find peace and strength. This is certainly the thought and sentiment that's running in all our minds right now. And I want to make it very clear in this juncture, as we've all gathered together, and our prayers and positive wishes and thoughts count. They will make a difference. So this is what we are wishing for, praying for, and rooting for. While I say so, I also would like to acknowledge this question. Whatever be the reason, it's definitely not something that we relish or we enjoy, or we say that, oh, this happened and we've learned this lesson from this. No, there are better ways to learn. But then it has happened. So whatever be the reason, let's not even go to that. It is certainly not something that we desired. We don't want such things to ever happen again. We want everybody to be happy, prosperous, and healthy. But since this has already happened and we find ourselves in this situation, it would certainly also make sense for us to see what is the learning from all of this. Because everything teaches us a lesson, isn't it? That is what Guru Maharaj would always say. He would say, never think of the Guru as another physical body, a 6-foot human body. If you carefully notice, he will teach you through everything that is there around you, he would say. Everything teaches us, isn't it? I'm reminded of this very beautiful anecdote that happened in the life of the great Mahatma Kanchi Mahas Formula, who lived on earth for 100 years and blessed us all, and who continues to bless us all. Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swamigal. It's one of our Guru Maharaj's favorites. He would always narrate this particular incident. It so happened that many, many years ago, while the Swamigal was still in his physical body, it was Diwali time, and during that festival occasion, it is generally a custom here for journals and magazines to bring out a Deepavali Malar, a special edition with a collection of rare articles, and it's a big fat book with quality content. And one such magazine, a very reputed one, brought out a wonderful Deepavali special edition. Amongst the many other things that were there in that book, one key feature was this interview that they had conducted with lots of famous people from different walks of life, different fields, celebrities, sports people, people in the government, people that are very prominent in the society. And the one question that was asked was what they had learnt from the world. A very beautiful question, isn't it? One of the persons that they had sought an answer to this question was Kanchi Mahas Formula. Every person that they met, educationists and celebrities, sports people, they had different things to say because they've all traveled far and wide. They've seen many places. They've been to different continents. So they said that this is what I learned. When I went to this particular place, I observed this particular thing in that country. I saw this culture. I saw the people there conducted themselves in this certain manner, and it impressed me very much. Each one had something to say, a nice experience, a good learning from the different places that they had traveled to. All of it was very significant and carried a lot of benefit to the reader. The same question was posed to this Mahatma, Kanchi Mahaswami. He gave a very beautiful answer, an answer that Guru Maharaj would always recall. He said, "The world continues to teach me a lesson every single moment. I have to possess the maturity to learn from it." What a beautiful answer. What does he have to learn? There's nothing for him to learn. He has come to teach, he has come to impart. And that is a teaching for us. It says the world continues to teach every single moment. It's just that we need to prepare ourselves to be observant and learn from it. That is the truth, isn't it, friends? Everything that happens around us always teaches us a lesson. How much we observe, how much we imbibe, and how much we retain. Retention. That is really the key point, isn't it? I'm sure we've all heard the story of the great Gautama Buddha, one of the greatest Mahapurushas. He had a beautiful life, isn't it, to start with, as Prince Siddhartha. His father was a king, and very early on, even when he was born, his father was told by some people that could predict the future that the son would one day become a monk. He would renounce everything and go away. So father was very concerned. He wanted his son to become king, and he made sure that he lived in a bubble after that. Literally, a bubble that was filled with comforts and joy and nothing else. He was not even allowed to step out of that place to see how the rest of the world looked like, how things really were. He would always ensure that the best and the brightest were there at his service. And as his life went on like this, God's will always prevail, isn't it? No matter what we do, how much ever we try to run away from it, it will certainly find its way to us, isn't it? It did. One day, the prince decided that he will sneak out. Along with his friend who was a charioteer, he went. And he came across three things. We've all read about it. First, he saw this person. He didn't even know what that was, literally. He said, "What is this?" He said, "This is a person that is old. It is an individual. Individual like you and me." The prince was shocked because he's never seen an old person till then. His father ensured that there was no old people in that palace because he did not want the prince to come across any such thing. Anything that would provoke a thought, anything that would make him sad or inquisitive or worried, he made sure it is not there in that environment. Do you mean to say that I will also become like that one day? Absolutely. Everybody will. Everybody has to. Mahatmas have said, isn't it? If you look at the trees, the manner in which they age, especially the leaves, as they turn colors and then finally fall, it's so graceful, isn't it? Mahatmas have said, the trees and leaves and nature knows how to age and even die gracefully. Will we ever learn from it? So this friend tells the prince, it will happen to you and me one day. We also will become old. This hair will all become white. We may have a hunchback. The skin will become wrinkled. It is bound to happen. It will happen to everybody. It's inevitable. And then he comes across somebody who is ill, afflicted by a disease. He's never seen sick people before. His father ensured that. And that was a huge blow. So can that happen to me? Of course it can happen to you. You're no exception. Nobody is. If it happens to the neighbor, if it happens to the person on the next street, if it happens to the person in the next country, it can also happen to me. It has happened in my family before. So I'm no exception. It is going to happen. Yes. And then he finally comes across somebody who's dead. A body that's lying there still. What is wrong? Why is he lying there like that? Still, there's no movement. It's a dead body, friends. And that is also inevitable. That which is created will have to be destroyed. It is the law of nature. Nobody is an exception to it. As Guru Maharaj would say, Thondriyadu Azhiyum, Azhindadu Thondrum. Very beautifully in Kalidharma he would say it. There's no choice. And this encounter, and it happens just once, isn't it? This encounter made him so restless, he was not able to rest after that. It had taught him a lesson that left such a mark, such an impact within, that he could not stop or rest till he found a solution to it. Not a temporary one. Ones that I would seek in such situations, they are end of the day temporary. If I manage to find a way to get out of one problem, it's going to be another one in another form. I'm not being pessimistic, I'm being very realistic. That's a fact, isn't it? It's not to say that life is after all full of problems. No, life is full of joys and sorrows, both. But they will all come to an end at some point of time. So when you're looking for the solution, our scriptures would advise that look for that which is permanent. That's it. So he wanted that permanent solution, and that led him to that search within, and he did not stop till he attained that self-realization, that highest state that is to be attained, where you realize that you're not the body anymore, you're not the mind, you're not this intellect, you're not the breath, you're not the prana, and I am that eternal Brahman, that self. That is permanent. He stopped only when he found that solution, because the lesson that he learned made such a mark on him. The same happened in the life of the great Ramana Maharshi, isn't it? When he was a little boy, when he witnessed death, he was just a school-going kid at that time. It led him to finding that permanent solution. He did not stop till he got there, and it happened. One of the greatest Mahatmas of our times. So everything around us, in that sense, friends, is always teaching us. Every happening is always teaching us. The question is, how much do I imbibe? Have I not witnessed such things before in life? Of course I have. Have I not witnessed people falling sick? Have I not witnessed aging? Have I not witnessed death? This happened everywhere, all around me, all the time. When it happens in another place, I look at it like it's news and I share it with people. It's sensational. I'm inquisitive to know what happened. When it happens at some proximity, I get little more involved in it because it's happening in my place, in my town, or in my province. If it happens in my own home, I'm even more impacted by it. And when it happens to me, that is the maximum impact. It has always happened. Have I not fallen sick before? Do I not know that I'm aging every single day, every single moment that goes past? I know it. Has it left an impact on me? It has. But It's been momentary. That is the only difference between what happened to me and what happens to the great ones. It's momentary. I'm sure you've heard of this expression in Sanskrit that they say, smashana vairagyam. Meaning the vairagyam, dispassion that we get when we go to the graveyard. Let's say that somebody known to us has passed away, and the body is carried the last journey, and finally it is cremated. At that time, when I'm right there, I think of many things. Oh, he was there yesterday. I was talking to him. I was interacting with him. We made all these plans. But what we would do during the summer, we thought about all these things. And today, where is he? He's no more. Did we expect this? No. It bursts like a bubble when we least thought that it would happen. I should change from now on. I should mend my ways. Has my Guru not always told me that? The time is precious. Live every moment like it is the last. That is the time when you understand that time, that second is most precious. Guru Maharaj would always say so. Has he not told me? I have to change. I have to implement it. I can't be like this anymore. I have to change. This is what I'm going to do. I resolve and make all these resolutions while I'm there witnessing all of it. As I walk out, I'm all serious about it. I make my plan. I make a set of resolutions that I tell myself that I will follow by all means, and I will not compromise for any reason. And I stick to it. In all sincerity, I'm quite serious about it. But for some time, I maybe do it for a week, for a few months. And then little by little, I find that I have gone back to exactly where I was before all of this happened. It has impacted me, but it also left me. The impact left me. It was there as long as I was there in that scenario. As time rolls by, I get all used to it. I lose myself and I'm drawn to doing the same old things, the same old way, like how I've been doing always. So the lesson is taught. The question is how much I retain it. What we can do, friends, is sincerely pray. It's a very beautiful point that has been brought out in this question, isn't it? Well, something of this size make us actually different people, better people when we get out of this. Yes, we have to. We have to pray that it happens. We have to pray that we remain consistent with this. Because there are, in fact, many beautiful things that we have learned from this. I will tell you, how many times when we walked past the road on a normal day, or we were in a hurry to go to work, did we think, say, of this old couple that lived right across that could probably use some help? Never thought of them, but now in this situation, I actually look at them. I wonder if I can help them with this lockdown and all of this. Can I go and help you with something? I offer my help. Can I run an errand? Can I get something from the provision store for you? How many times have I gone past, say, a dog that was in the street, a stray dog? It was really hungry. I don't even stop for a moment to think about it because I don't have the time. My life does not allow me to do so. It's not as if I'm doing it intentionally. But now I stop and I look at it. I wonder what will it do for its food because everything is closed. At least I have some way. What about these poor things? Don't I feel like at least getting some food and giving it to it at that moment? Maybe it will not solve the global issue, but it certainly satisfies the hunger of that poor creature that one time, and that makes a difference. How many times did we stop to actually hear the birds chirping, especially when we are in urban life, in a place like in a city that is always filled with traffic and noises? We can actually see the stars very clearly at night because there's so much less pollution, they say. Nowadays, because all of this is stopped. And they say the earth is actually breathing. We're giving the time for Mother Earth to rejuvenate herself. So all these good things have come out of this, isn't it? It is said, isn't it? It's when you're squeezed, when you're cornered, in that moment, our true self is revealed. Till then I can put on a show, I can pretend, I can do this, I can do that. It's when I'm really cornered, what's really inside is really what springs forth. It comes out, isn't it? On one side, as a commoner, I do have the sense of apprehension, a fear that I don't want to be affected by this. But on the other side, the more important one that I want to highlight, don't you think that this whole situation that has squeezed us has brought that real juice out of us, that love, that caring nature? Because that truly is what is within every one of us. We really want to connect to people. We want to show our affection, care and love in some way or the other, in a selfless manner. This has really brought that juice out of us, isn't it? It shows and proves that this is our true nature, because that love is God, and it is that God that resides within every one of us. That is the true human spirit, that is our nature, and it has been brought out. In fact, we were surprised to even see this very beautiful, loving being within every one of us. One that wants to help, one that wants to serve selflessly in somehow, even if it is a tiny little step, somehow make a difference to another person's life. We are all trying to do that, isn't it? So that is one big plus. And the other important learning that we have acquired from this is this: it has made us humble, isn't it? It has forced us to understand that this invisible enemy called Corona has literally brought all of us down to our knees. Everything that we thought will never stop actually stopped. It came to a standstill. It brought us down. It is a huge blow on the ego, isn't it? It makes us realize that that is how we are, that is how vulnerable we are. And that is a good learning too. It has taught us to be humble, it has taught us to be caring, it has taught us to be loving. And it has also brought out this very important quality that we all possess as human beings. We always hold on to hope with faith. Despite all of this, every one of us, I'm sure, believes that it is all going to be fine. It's just a matter of time. We have the best brains at work. They're all doing their thing. And then we have our prayers and our wishes, and it's all going to be fine. We are always holding on to that hope, that positivity. That is a very important learning from this. And last but not the least, or probably the most important, is it is this situation that also makes all of us hold on to our faith, hold on to our prayers, stronger than ever before. I can tell you that if I were to put myself here, and honestly, it is true, I would never be this committed or serious about, say, a prayer or holding on to my faith on a day when I'm very happy and when things are going my way, as opposed to a day when I'm faced with a challenge. It is true, I will admit it. As far as I'm concerned, that's how it works. Challenges make me hold on to this more than ever before, and that again is a huge plus. So these are the wonderful things that we have learned from this situation, which is not desirable at all. We do not want this to ever happen again, and we want this to go away as soon as possible, but these are the learnings. It showed us our true nature, that loving, caring, selfless nature, and we need to hold on to it. We need to allow this impact to remain and not go away as time rolls by. That is most important. And that can be a very sincere prayer from all of us, that the impact should stay on in every one of us. Before I conclude, I'd like to share what Guru Maharaj was saying the other day after all of this was happening. He said this in a very light sense, in a very positive way. He said that in Srimad Bhagavatam we hear about Hiranyakashipu, Prahlada's father, the evil one. And there was a point of time when he literally was ruling all the worlds. Everything was under his control. The sun cannot rise or set without asking him. It would rain only when he asks the rain to. Everything was under his control. So practically, in that sense, he was the Lord of all the worlds. And he had put an order that the only worship that will happen is for him, not God. The only name that everybody will always recite and chant will be his name. The only form that will be worshipped and respect would be offered to would be his form. So it was him everywhere. Everybody was saying it, everybody was thinking about him out of fear, out of apprehension. The only thought that was in everybody's minds was Hiranyakashipu, about Hiranyakashipu at that time. Guru Maharaj said this coronavirus has become like Hiranyakashipu. It's there in everybody's minds, the fear that it has caused. Everybody is talking about it. It's there in everybody's tongues. There's one word that is most searched in any internet search engine, it would be today Corona or COVID-19. Isn't it? Guru Maharaj said, if we had replaced this name with the divine name of God, like Rama and Krishna, that would have been an added benefit in this very troubled times, because everybody would have at least chanted this name, everybody would have thought about this name. It's like how it said, Sanketyam, Parihasyam, Stopam, Hedanamevava. Somehow, for some reason, people would have repeated this name. This name would have been on everybody's minds and tongues, and that would have been beneficial to all in this very difficult situation. Thank you all. Thank you for your patience. We will conclude by chanting the Maha Mantra a few times. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Sadguru Nath Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.